This is one of the weirder things I have ever shown on my channel, and it's not even remotely related to what we usually talk about, which is kind of the hobby, competitive kind of thing of Nerf, but at the same time, this is something that I would definitely use in a war, and I don't think anybody would say I couldn't, because from what I've seen, it's reasonably safe, and when I showed this to other people, they were very enthusiastic, and of course everybody wanted to immediately be a foam ninja. This was sent to me by a viewer that goes by the name of Robin Hood, and it was a very, very surprising package because it was just an Amazon box with a thing in it, and I had got a message the day before of a dude who said, "Hey, look forward to getting this thing in the mail tomorrow." And I went, "What is it?" And they said, "You'll see." And then I opened the package, and it was this. What the heck is this? Well, you probably see the name on the package right here, but this is the Switchblade Boomerang Foam Strike by Monkey Business Sports. It's one of those, I mean, these are nothing new. You've seen these kind of foam boomerang tri-star kind of things around before, but this one has an interesting gimmick. For when I push this, button right here that obviously says try me, switch to release, that's a thing that happens. This is a very, very cool toy. Very, very cool. I don't really know how else to describe it because it's a complete foam boomerang, and you can see it's kind of beat up now because I have been throwing it around quite a bit just to make sure A, it works, and B, it's somewhat safe, and it held up reasonably well. I've been throwing it at the garage door, throwing it around outside, just trying to get a feel for how it actually works because it is a boomerang, but it's like a throwing star Shuriken at the same time, a rather big one. That, of course, folds up. And so if you were to, let's say, carry this on your gear at a war and you wanted a melee weapon or something like that, it's very easy to take this thing, you can pull it out of your gear, push that button, and throw it. And if you really wanted to be fancy, you could throw it in a way that would actually make the boomerang effect happen, which is, I mean, I'm not good with a boomerang. I'm not even good at this thing, to be honest. A normal boomerang's hard enough. This is even harder, in my opinion. But I can get it to sweep in front of me, fly up in the air, and then come back down. Not anywhere remotely near myself, but it does, in fact, work. And I'm sure if I had a lot more practice with it, or somebody else who's far better at using this kind of stuff than me, could get it to reliably come back in their general direction. And while that has its limited appeals in a war, the fact that it is a projectile weapon that has a reasonable range, I'd say around 20-25 feet would be your max. That's about the best I could get out of it accurately anyway. Anything past that, I either drift side to side of the target, or of course it sweeps right up in the air and then comes back down somewhere else, so that doesn't really work well. But before that, man, it works really good. It's a large thing, so it's pretty easy to hit your targets, like throwing a frisbee at a person. And on top of that, yeah, it's you could move it pretty quickly if you want. It is entirely foam, as you can see here. It is pretty rigid down here, I'm not gonna lie, but with its big, huge ends on it, it's not gonna go into anybody's eye or anything like that. It is a toy. It's meant to prevent against that, so I don't foresee any safety concerns with this thing, and the only amount of plastic is right here in this whole button release system, which is pretty well protected. I mean, you're not gonna hit somebody with that. And that holds up really, really nice. So if you were going around, like, say, a wall or around a corner or something in an outdoor war, and you whip this around the corner, not only is your opponent going to be really confused if you miss, but you have a good chance of even hitting them to begin with, and probably a better chance if there's more than one of accidentally hitting one of them, and that can buy you the couple of seconds you may need for something as they try to go, what the heck was that thing? Or when they get hit by it, wonder what just happened. And if you really want to be intimidating, I mean, not many people are going to be able to accurately deal with the first time they see somebody flip out this thing and then throw it. They're going to be really confused. But of course, most wars, I mean, if you're within 25 feet, you're going to get tagged out by even a Maverick. So the usefulness is debatable there quite heavily, but it is cool. And with all cool things, we just try to find a way to sneak it into our loadouts. And since this is pretty small and inoffensive, not, that's what she said, this would be a very fun thing to have on you. I mean, I don't think it's going to replace my throwing knife that I've used for years because I really like that, but I know when I showed this to the usual crew, every single one of them wanted it, and there will be a buy link down in the description below. There are two versions of this. There's this black and neon green one, which is obviously my favorite colors next to pink. And then there's a black and red one as well. Be careful, because the second I put stuff up like this, you know, videos like this up, people tend to buy them and they tend to disappear, but they're reasonably cheap. I mean, even if this thing, I've tried to put it through its paces. As you can see, all these things are dented, and yet it still works fine. It doesn't really bend right there all so much. It does, but as you can see, even the heaviest right here, it's not super flexible right there, but it is. I'm not saying this thing's going to last forever, but for, I think it's like $9, I'm not going to complain all that much. And better yet, I didn't have to pay anything for this one because it was sent to me, and it is definitely going to go in my loadout until it, well, breaks. And then I'll probably buy a couple more of them. In fact, I already want to buy a couple more of them because look at the thing. It's tiny and awesome. And God, that's cool. Oh my God, seriously. It's going to appeal to a certain subsection of people who watch my channels, but I love folding weapons. It's something that I've always adored, and Final Fantasy XIII made that even worse for me, because like every weapon in that game transforms, and this is like that. I mean, I could do that all day. In fact, I have done it all day. This is one of the cooler things I've ever had. It's a little bit different for this channel, but as per usual, things are usually way different on this channel. And if you're looking for something like this, if you saw this and thought it was cool, you probably already searched the description and bought one yourself, or you might already have one. I've honestly never seen it before, because honestly, I don't look for stuff like this all that often, which makes the question that I probably should, because it's awesome. I don't really have anything else to say about it. I really, really like this thing, and I can't wait to use it. So thank you again to One Robin Hood. I assume that's their handle and not their actual real name, but that's what they wanted me to say. Thank you very much. I absolutely adore it, and if you're interested, I would pick one up myself as well, because, I mean, I have one, but it's cool. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Walcom S7's hands, and of course, I hope to see you in an entirely different one. If I haven't proven it already, around here, that's a usually pretty accurate statement.